The name of the show is The Way to Go. My name is Alan Bendich. I'm going to be your host. Tonight we have a very special guest, actually someone who I co-starred in a movie with. He's a martial artist, he's an actor, he's a producer. His name is Jamar Edmundson, and he's in the studio today. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me aboard, Alan.
Great. It's so great to be with a co-star of a movie that Teresa Nash put together. Right?
Certainly is. It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
She's a very talented lady.
Yes. I worked on several projects with her. I worked on the one with you, Maternal Instinct, The Taser. We did quite a bit of stuff together. Me, her, and Demetrius.
Yeah. I mean, she's not only a talented martial artist and actor, she's beautiful. So, right?
She got the whole package.
That's it. It's the whole package. So you're a martial artist, but we're going to talk first, I guess, about your acting, right? I mean,
yes.
When did you first get interested in acting?
Truthfully, I've been interested in acting since 1990. I was about 11, 12 years old. But I never pursued it. I did pursue it for about 2 or 3 years. I didn't see any light, so I just kind of backed off of it. But later on, as of 2015 till now, I've been consistent for the past 4 years.
So when you're acting, how do you feel? I mean,
when I'm acting, I feel like I'm on top of the world. I feel great. I feel the highest level of joy to my capacity.
That's it.
And it feels good when you doing something that you love versus something that you like.
And I'll tell you, I feel exactly the same way. I mean, that's why I knew the answer to the question, even though I never heard you answer it before. Yeah. It's amazing, right? I mean, it's like, it could be freezing outside, it could be hot outside, but when they say action and you're doing it, it's like, that's the one thing in life you want to be doing at that point in time, right? I mean, it
just takes you to another element.
So, do you bring your martial arts? Like, tell me a little bit about your martial arts and how you put those two together, maybe in your acting career.
Well, my martial arts, as far as that's concerned, I started studying Goju Karate at the age of 8 years old.
Wow!
In fact, my very first instructor, lived next door to me, upstairs, but one house over. Because I was raised by my grandparents, so that was the first system I've studied. I'm still with them to this day.
Wow.
And it's been 32 years now.
Do you teach as well?
Yes.
Wow, that's cool. Right,
well.
because I know I have a lot of friends who are martial artists, and one thing I've known is that the students become teachers if they stay with it, right? I mean,
eventually, like they say, the student becomes a teacher, the teacher becomes a student.
That's it. So have you helped other kids, find themselves in martial arts?
To a certain degree, yes, I have. I've been at my instructor's dojo helping him teach, helping him out with the children, the youth, some adult classes. But mostly, first and foremost, I've been collectively putting my skills on the big screen, because my ultimatum, my main goal is to become one of the next martial arts action film stars.
So I have a question. When we see actors, doing their thing, is it freestyle or is it choreographed, or how does it usually? I mean, because as a person looking on the screen, you're just entranced, but it's all choreographed, right?
Yeah, 99.9% of the time it's all choreographed. Some of those actors are real martial artists, some aren't. Some just are taught certain things that have the ability to perform as a martial artist. Right. But most of the time, 99.9% of the time, it's all choreographed. So
I have a question. What level of martial arts are you, by the way?
I have a Shishidan, which is a 7th degree black belt in Goju Karate.
So you know your stuff, right? I mean, you're still learning. It's a lifetime of learning, right? But you know a lot. When you watch something like on TV and you see someone who's not really a martial artist doing martial arts, no matter how choreographed is it, do you laugh at that? Do you ever find yourself giggling about it, or?
Sometimes. Yeah. But you can take somebody who don't know anything at all and make them look better than Bruce Lee.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's all about timing, the proper choreographing.
Like when you look at the Matrix and stuff like that, when you see all that stuff, they look like they know what they're doing, but I'm sure they're just actors, right?
Well, actually, the main star, Keanu Reeves, he's now currently just got his black belt, so now he's really getting into it.
But science. Before, when he was actually doing Matrix,
before it wasn't on the level it is now. No.
Yeah, but I hear only good stuff about him in terms of his personality and what he does for people. He's like a regular dude, right?
Great actor, phenomenal actor.
Right. So who are the people that you emulate in terms of acting? You know, I mean, when you look up and say, you know, that's the person, you know, like I look at him and I can use them as a role model of who I want to become. Do you have people like that?
Yes, actually, on the acting side, I would give it to Denzel Washington. As far as the natural acting ability.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
When it comes to the martial arts, when you speak of martial arts action film star,
Yeah.
Jim Kelly, Michael Jai White, you know, those individuals, because they portray their martial arts on the big screen.
Right.
Whatever style, whatever system they're from, they got the opportunity to portray it on the big screen, combined with their acting.
And so would you say most of the stuff that you've done on the big screen combined both your acting and your martial arts? Or have you done stuff that didn't have the martial arts in it?
I've done stuff that was a combination of the two,
Right.
of both. I've also done stuff where it was just strictly martial arts, and I've done stuff where it was just strictly acting.
Do you like them all the same, or do you like...
I like them together. I like them separate.
Yeah.
You know, I do what I do because I don't want to be typecast. You know, I want to be cast in a film as an actor. I want to be cast in a film as a martial artist, as a villain, as a killer,
Right.
as a sociopath. You know what I mean? So I want to have different things, different venues under my belt rather than just one thing.
So do you audition, or do you usually work with people that you've worked with in the past, or do you do a combination of both? Or like, how do you usually get your parts?
Both. I audition people I work with in the past. You know, if I see an advertisement, you know, I apply for it. You know, so it's a combination, all three.
Right. And any big film that you've worked on, or?
Biggest film I worked on so far, well, two. They were in the theaters too. One is called The Operative, and that's with Michael DePasquale Jr. In fact, he's the one I got my stunt training from.
Oh, wow.
Alan Goldberg's in that, which is, as you know, the Godfather of martial arts. He gives an event every year, every January, a world event. You know, the biggest event over here on the East Coast.
And you know him?
Yeah,
Wow,
we
that's
talk
great.
all the time. Also, the second biggest project I've done, movie-wise, it's Jackson Bolt. That was in California. Fred the Hammer Williamson is the main star.
I met him at the Urban Action
Showcase.
Right, that's
Yeah.
it. That was it was crazy meeting him. It was great with Lamar and Demetrius, who we discussed before. And Lamar is, you know, he's someone we know from at LMC TV. So he's a friend of our show, and of our station. So
Right.
it's great. It is a small world, though.
Very small. I wasn't expecting to be here with you after working the project together.
It is funny that we worked on that project together. It's crazy, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing who you're going to meet. This acting business is so huge, but at the same time, so very small.
So, do you think New York is where you want to be, or do you think I've been thinking more about like expanding your universe and going elsewhere?
Well, truthfully,
Yes.
I'll go wherever the work is. You know, I'm SAG, Screen Actors Guild, and I have a valid passport. So if I have to go to Japan, or if I got to film in Kuwait, or if I got to film in Ohio, it doesn't matter to me.
Right.
But, you know, I see myself at some point relocating to LA where the work is,
Right.
or Atlanta, you know.
Yeah, Atlanta's becoming big now, right? I mean, there's a lot of filming going on there.
Atlanta and Chicago is up and coming. It's on the rise.
But New York's doing pretty good too. I mean, I work in the city on my regular gig, and every time I go to lunch, there's like I could see like these
Always
the
something.
Haddad, you know,
Haddad, yeah.
yeah, Haddad here, Haddad there. You know, it's,
So you know, New York City is good on. New York City is good on when it comes to commercial and TV.
right,
Commercial and TV shows. They do movies too, but not like California.
right. And do you care which you do? Do you care if it's television or movies or?
I like both. I prefer more film
Right.
these days, but I can work with both.
Yeah, TV is interesting because it's quicker. You know, you have to. There's a schedule you have to get. Whereas with movies, there's a schedule.
Yeah.
But with TV, you get new lines on a daily basis. You know, the upgraded scripts and all this other stuff. It's like it can drive you nuts.
It's always changes and
Right.
things implemented, things added.
So, who have you worked with, like directors, that you would like to shout out to? And, you know.
Oh yeah, I would like to give a big, major shout out to director Robert Bobby Samuels.
Okay.
He was one of the first black Hong Kong action superstars. He did his thing overseas in China and Hong Kong.
Wow.
I mean, he's here now, but I just did a project with him called Final Contact. It's a TV web series.
Well,
It's a martial arts TV web series. Just finished it. I was in Philly just 3 months ago in May, filming that. You know, I played the role as a villain. I played the role as Panther. I was one of the ninjas, one of the spies. So
that's so cool.
had a lot of fun. It was great. It was great. In fact, this Friday, you know, in Queens, we're going to have a gathering. It's going to be streaming there.
That's great. I love that. Isn't that the coolest when you get the cast together and the crew and you all get together and you watch what you've done?
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing sometimes when you're doing it, you don't know what it's really going to look like, and then when you see it, it's like, holy smoke, that's me and that's us, and we did this. You know.
Yeah. It's always amazing when you see the final touch.
Especially if you got a good editor and a good director. Those are the things. I mean, they can make anyone look good. You know what I mean? It's like they can even make me look good. The editing is the key, I think.
Yeah, they sell it. They sell it.
Yeah.
Definitely sell it.
So where did you grow up?
Oh, I grew up in Brooklyn, Bedford-Stuyvesant section of Brooklyn, New York.
Was it tough?
It used to be.
Yeah.
You know, now it's changed a lot.
Yeah, it's all that gentrification and it's like yuppies or whatever these.
Yeah,
the millennials, whatever they are.
Now it's like if you walk down Bedford-Stuyvesant now, it's like you feel like you're in Midtown Manhattan.
I know, it's crazy.
It don't even feel the same.
My son lives down there. Yeah, it's like, it doesn't seem like the Brooklyn I knew when I was growing up in the 50s and 60s. I mean, if you were from the Bronx, you went to Brooklyn, you were in the wrong side of town. You know?
I remember a time growing up there, even as a kid in the 80s, even in the 90s, if, you know, with all the drug pushers and, you know, the pimps and prostitutes and all the negativity surrounding within the community, if you didn't know how to physically handle yourself or didn't know anyone, you couldn't even walk to the corner store, to the deli.
I mean, same thing in the Bronx. I mean, well, the Bronx still is kind of rough, but I've had guns pulled out when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, several times people had guns on me, you know. Thank God they never pulled the trigger, and whatever they wanted, I gave, you know, but it's scary stuff out there. But now it's still scary in other ways. I mean, with the whole, I don't want to get into politics, but it's some crazy stuff going on there.
Yeah. For
So,
sure.
do you ever look for messages in the projects that you work on in terms of films? Do you like to work on? Do you care what the message is, or do you look for things that are positive movies, or at this point you're just getting the movies working?
At this point, it doesn't even matter. I just want to.
You want to work.
My mindset, my motto is to keep at it, to keep it sharp, so that it can constantly stay looking good.
Right, that's the whole thing. Right, you have to keep it sharp, and then at some point, when I was in Hollywood, I went to I had one acting class, and I talked about this a couple of shows ago. But even at this acting class, which was just a cold reading course, basically what it was, it teaches you how to audition. You get the script, and then you do a dialogue with a beautiful girl. That was the kicker. That's how they got people. So they had girls on one side and guys on the other. They'd get them the script 5 minutes before, and then you'd have to do a cold reading. And what it was in Hollywood, the key was to get the job. And the better you did a cold reading, as soon as you get the audition, look at it and then do the scene, the better you did that, the more jobs you got. We used to get a couple of guys. This guy, Ben Murphy, who was a star of 2 different television shows, used to come in, not every week, but he'd come in a couple of times a month just to do the act, just to study, just to keep himself sharp. Even though he had a television series and all this stuff, he still came in because he felt he had to do the work. He had to get the work in. Have you taken classes?
Yes, I have a coach right now that's been my coach since I got into business. She was one of the instructors at Stella Adler.
Wow.
She also studied at
Awesome.
the Barrow Group. You know, I have 2 coaches now. Another coach I have, her name is Laurie Lescu. Oh, by the way, big shout out to her.
Right.
She taught me a lot, gave me a lot of pointers. She taught me a lot about scene studies, scene analysis, everything. Everything I know pertaining to acting that brings out. Also, the Miser technique is what I learned from her
So you're really into it. You know, you're so into it that would you like to share some of the stuff that you are into with our audience? I know you brought a video.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Okay. So, and what are we going to see in this video?
In this video, it showcased 2 projects that I worked on, 3, and it showcased a lot of martial arts talent in the video.
So let's check out this video. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. That was pretty awesome. I'm happy I'm your friend and not one of your enemies, that's for sure. That was awesome. That was great, man. You really look good on screen. You know, you have what it takes. Do you think I mean, what's your timetable? Are you looking at this as like whatever it takes, or I mean?
Well, I'm gonna say it like this: everything happens in God's time.
Right.
You know, all we could do is apply ourselves, and we can want we can want it tomorrow, but we may not get it till next year.
Yeah, there's an old expression that, you know, people make plans and God laughs because it's all His plan. It's not our plan. So exactly, I agree with you.
My motto is to stay ready to keep from getting ready.
That's it.
You know, I'd rather have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
That's true.
So I stay ready to keep from getting ready. I'm always staying sharp with my art, my fighting art, and I'm always staying sharp with my acting.
Right. It must, you know, to be so focused, and obviously you need focus for both. I mean, martial artists, if you don't have focus, you know, you don't have anything really. I mean, isn't that? I mean, it's key, and also with acting. I mean, you have to. Acting is a weird thing, you know. It's just it's so different.
It's who you know. It's the timing. It's the connections. It's getting out
also
there.
being in the character, you know, and at that moment realizing, you know, it's just you and that person, if it's a dialogue or something like that, and nothing else exists, you know, and it's crazy, man. I love that stuff. So, do you have anything? So you have something. You have an activity you're doing on Friday, but what's your next gig? Do you have something lined up?
Well, as of right now, no, I don't have anything lined up now. We're just wrapping it up with Final Contact with Bobby. So I'm attending the premiere this Friday, and then moving on to the next one after that.
So the premiere, so it's already edited and everything. It's all done.
Yeah, episode 3. This is episode 3.
Do you think he'll use you in future episodes, or?
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, that's the beauty of it, you know. Especially, and do you play different characters in different episodes, or do you?
Well, this one was the first episode that I was in.
Oh, I see.
You know, there's episode 1, there's episode 2, episode 3, which is the one I just starred in, and there's going to be a 4th one. But his work is phenomenal.
So where can you see it? Like you said, it's a web series.
It's a web series.
So you see it. What platform can you see it on? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Not yet, but
it won't be available yet. It's just going to be the premiere. It's going to be streaming at a museum that we're all going to get together to watch in Queens.
So the next time you come on the show, you can tell us where we could actually see it. That would be awesome.
You got it, absolutely.
That's great. So where can we see your work? I mean, other than, you know, what we just showed.
You can see all of my work on IMDb Pro.
Okay.
I have all the projects I've done. I have all my current up-to-date demo reels, acting reels, boxing reel, you know, clips, footages from other movies, everything. My whole lifeline, my whole, how you call it, rap sheet.
That's it. So the other thing is, like, you don't want to be typecast, you said.
Not at all, not at all.
Have you played outside of your obvious, you know, character? I mean, what type of characters have you played? I'm curious.
So far, since 2015, these are all the characters I played.
Okay.
I portrayed a bodyguard, a bouncer, nightclub bouncer.
Right.
I portrayed a warehouse worker.
Oh.
I portrayed, obviously, of course, martial artist.
Right.
I portrayed a killer. What else did I portray? A boxer. And a kickboxer. Jackson Bolt film, I was a kickboxer, arena fighter. I portrayed an MMA fighter. This short film called Yes, They Bleed that I did back in 2016 in New Jersey.
Right.
And that's pretty much it.
But, you know, I guess, like, you know, you go back to people like Arnold and some of the other people who are, like, known for specific things. After a while, they wind up, once they've matured in the business, they're able to play outside of their, you know, their specific roles, and they're offered roles like that. What roles would you like to play? I mean, ultimately, would you like to be like, I mean, because you're a person that exudes confidence. You know what I mean? I mean, like, would you ever play a person who's not, like, even though you know, like a person who's not confident? In other words, go against what people see. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because those are the most to me, those are the most interesting characters.
Yeah. Well, I'm open for any character.
Right.
I mean, as long as at the end of the day, as long as my acting skills I'm constantly progressing and I'm getting sharper and sharper by the minute.
Yeah, but it's the whole stretch thing, you know, like, because sometimes I'm comfortable in playing like the cop and a bad guy and all this other stuff, and now a priest, but you know, some characters are difficult for me to, you know, it makes me stretch a little bit, you know, because
Right.
you know, and but those are those are the ones I find, even as when I'm the director, that I get the most interesting performances from the actors that I work with. It's like when you go off type. You know?
I like dramatic characters.
Me too. I love drama better than comedy. But
Yeah.
Because the other part of it is comedy's tougher, I think. You know, personally, I feel.
Hey, comedy's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And I like dramatic. I like being a crime boss. I play the role as a fed, a judge.
I've been the judge too.
You
I
know, a
played the judge.
doctor.
Judge is good. I
Yeah.
like that one. It's fun. I'd love to do a judge on Law and Order. That would be fun.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That's the real deal. So, what have you produced?
So far within my career, the only project I produced is the one that I just finished. I just finished this one also with JT. It's called Redemption on Gun Hill Road.
Oh, and I wanted to work on that. I was
Yeah.
dying to work on that. JT told me I was supposed to be in that. Uh-oh, I didn't know you would have produced. No, just kidding.
I'm one of the associate producers, and I'm one of the leads also.
I used to live near Gun Hill Road in the Bronx. That's where I'm from. That's my neighborhood. That's my stomping grounds.
Oh, I know exactly where Gun Hill Road was at in the Bronx.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's
2 train.
I was on the 5 train. I wasn't on the White Plains Road. I was on the Dyer Avenue side. I was closer to the Valley, near Co-op City.
Okay.
That was pretty deep over there. I mean, there was some stuff, especially in the 1970s and the late 60s, that was going on in what they called the Valley. Forget about it. I mean, but now it's like mostly, again, it's also like nurses. You know, it's become like more of a middle class neighborhood.
Now, yeah, it's smoothed out a lot now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, the Bronx, Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, you know, it's not what it used to be anymore.
But near Montefiore Hospital, which is on the other side of Gun Hill Road, like more towards the 4 train rather than the 2 train, I was over my brother's apartment. My brother's a doctor. He was a resident at Montefiore Medical Center. I was at his apartment because he wasn't there. I went to a bodega across the street. These guys came in with shotguns, you know? So, I mean, and that's back in 1977. So it's like, but it's not like that anymore, at least most of the time. But so, did you have permits? How did you get that? Did you guys shoot outside?
Yeah, we had permits. We shot outside. We shot in a school.
Which school, do you know? Or was it in that neighborhood or near Gun Hill Road, or was that?
No. The school we shot in was in Brooklyn. It was IS 57.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it was in Bedford-Stuyvesant.
Oh, cool.
Luckily, where I'm from.
Wow. So yeah, that's great.
How ironic is that, right?
That's crazy. But so, what was the story behind? I'm curious about because I didn't even the Gun Hill Road.
Oh yeah, the Gun Hill Road is it's about like corruption and.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, so it's about corruption in inner cities and stuff like that.
So when is that going to be? It's finished, right?
It's finished. It's just been wrapped up about a month ago.
So they're editing it now and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's been edited and everything.
Was it a feature or a short?
A short.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's one I want to see. I mean, I definitely want to see that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, how come you didn't use me? No, but it's okay. It's crazy. It
was cool filming though. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun working with Rob Davila, Christopher Piccone. It was a lot of fun.
Chris Piccone was in that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. He was also in the Brawler, the movie I was in with him.
Yeah, he's also the editor for that project as well.
Right. He works for HBO, I think. Right. So I think.
Yeah, he's an editor for HBO.
Right. That's JT told. Yeah, I'd like him to edit some of my stuff. That would be fun. Yeah, I've worked. You know, it's a small community, especially the whole JT community. They work on everybody else's. I mean, it's nice. He gets people to work together. And so, what future do you look at yourself as producing bigger projects? Or,
Yeah, I look at myself producing bigger projects, making bigger films,
Right.
making big budget films.
Right.
I see myself becoming mainstream, really being on top of the world with this here.
Well, you're already on the path. I mean, you studied with some great, in every aspect. Your martial arts, you studied with great people.
Oh yeah,
You
that's continuously. That keeps my heart.
and your
pumping.
acting, you study with great people, different styles. It's amazing. And you're scary in the movies. I'll tell you. I mean, but that's the part.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Teresa, you look at Teresa, and she doesn't look scary at all until she's kicking you in the face. So it's
Teresa's my buddy. Me and Teresa, we're tight. We go back.
Shout out to Teresa.
Oh yeah, big shout out to Teresa.
Me too.
Big shout out.
Yeah, she was great, and she sat in that. Well, actually, sat in the other studio, but she sat in that chair, and it was fun. And a shout out to JT.
Oh yeah, by the way, big shout out to JT for making me sag.
Right, and not only
Big shout out to JT.
Yeah. And really, we wish the best for JT, and we want him to be as healthy as possible. But unfortunately, there's just there's one thing,
He's
just one thing
recovering.
left to say. That's a wrap. Good night, folks.